Hello everyone, I'm here today to do another review for the Booker Longlist 2021, and this time it's going to be The Sweetness of Water by Nathan Harris. So this book is about the south of the US after the Civil War. So that's when the slavery was formally abolished in the US. And so this book explores the relationship between black and white people after the Civil War in the South. So we follow these two brothers, Prentice and Landry, who are black liberated slaves. So they are free men. But they're trying to find work and it's very difficult for them. So they're thinking about going to the north. But they finally find this family, this white family. That is, so the parents are George and Isabel, and they have a son called Caleb. And these two black men are able to work in this farm for a living. They are paid. And yeah, we explore a bit the dynamics of everything. So there's many things going on. There is the fact that Caleb was in the war, but he came back early, so he's considered a bit of a coward, and he's also in love with his friend August. So there is LGBTQ plus representation there. Then we have the fact that these two brothers working for a wage doesn't sit well with the people in the village, and so George, the man that hires them, faces a lot of criticism for that and faces a lot of issues. And then we have the plot is basically the first half or so of the book focuses on that criticism of the people and the acceptance and kind of builds the atmosphere, and then a bit before halfway through, something very dramatic happens. And then, so these people have to run away from this village, and then we follow that chase and what happens after. So I have several issues with this book. Overall, I think that the writing was quite descriptive, and some beautiful passages here and there, but I have several issues with this because the book itself, like the pacing of the book is really strange. Like for half of the book nothing happens, and then between the second half and the 2/3, that's when everything kind of happens, and then it slows down again, and I just couldn't find the pace that I wanted to read this on. I couldn't find the excitement, and you will think that a story about two brothers trying to survive and running away and things like that would catch people's interest. Sounds like adventurous, but it wasn't. It wasn't. It's very descriptive. It's very, very slow. The pacing is very strange. Like that first half, I was just about to give up on the book because it was just very slow. It was very slow. And also the fact that George is this white character that saves these two brothers and is confronting the rest of his society to accept the fact that he wants to employ these men that work hard and they're honest, despite them being black. It sounded a bit preachy and a little bit white savior thing. So yeah, I didn't like that either. But I just felt like the main point for me was that the engagement was not there. The writing was beautiful at parts and descriptive, but we don't get to know that much about the characters. I felt like it was very distant from the characters, so it was not a huge character development in that sense. But it was also not, I would have expected, based on the premise of this book, to be plot driven. But it was also not plot driven because the actual action of the things that happen in maybe like a fourth of the book in the middle. And I don't understand why the author would have done that. I think that this book would have worked much better like an adventure story, like Great Circle or Washington Black or something like that, and you can make very well written, very engaging and very literary adventure stories, and that's kind of what I was expecting from this, but that didn't happen. That didn't happen at all. I think the pacing was off. I think the characters were not very well developed, and it's a fairly long book. It's about 400 pages, so I think that for a book of 400 pages without a good plot or a good character development, it just leaves something to be desired from it. So yeah, I overall didn't get along with this. I don't think it's an essentially a bad book, but I think that it has issues that make it very difficult to read. I was just kind of bored by it. And yeah, I don't. This is the first book I've read for the Booker long list that I feel like it's not going to make it to the short list. I think it's fine that it was in the long list, but I don't think that it has anything special enough to be in the short list. I think that the story that it's trying to tell has been similar stories have been told before. There are like stories from Colson Whitehead or Ta-Nehisi Coates or other authors that have been telling these kind of stories before. Sarah Nell Harrison, I don't know, you tell me. There are many authors that have been looking into these stories, and this one, I didn't feel that it added anything particularly strong to the narrative. It did the narrative fine, but it didn't add anything to it. And yeah, overall, it was not an engaging book. There was no element on it that really engaged me to continue reading. So I don't think it has enough value to be in the shortlist. We will see. You never know with these changes, but I didn't find anything that I was amazed by, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to forget this in a few months from now. So yeah, overall, I think that this book is not the best in the long list. I don't think many people have read it yet from the Discord and the people I've seen, but I'm looking forward to their opinions because, yeah, for me it was just a very mad book. And yeah, that's more or less all I have to say about this. Yeah, I don't have any more deep thoughts or anything on this book. I just think it was kind of boring, the pacing was off, and the story was kind of things that I have read already. So there's nothing wrong with the book, but there's nothing exciting about the book either. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you have read The Sweetness of Water and what you thought about it, or if you have been reading any other books in the long list for the Booker Prize. And the next video, bye!